right. Just jump in.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me back on the podcast. And thanks for doing it in my space.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is the new JPC Frequency. I want to take it on the road when I can, get in y'all's vibe.
Yeah.
So, it's awesome.
I think that's brilliant. I think
got the incense burning.
I know. It's just creating the good vibes, soaking it all in.
Yeah, it's a hell of a vibe in here.
Thank you. It was fun to kind of revamp it during the pandemic because it was just, I was telling you earlier, it was just like a room full of my gear and shit. And then one of my bandmates was like, you have a really good space. We need to clean it up. And he helped me set it up and get everything running. So
nice. How long has it been like this?
2 years.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
And I'm just like, it's like a space where I want to be instead of I'm going to close the door because it's really messy in there. I'm just like, man, I can't wait to drink my coffee, open my blinds, sit down at my keyboard and my computer and just, write or listen to something, get inspired, watch something.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Get things out because, we got a lot of feelings.
Well, this was a cool experience right off the bat. Just getting here, setting stuff up.
Hell yeah.
Working on lighting and whatnot, stuff that I'm still a novice at.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's been fun. And I can't thank you enough. You're doing me a solid. This might be the lowest on the totem pole of your media run.
No.
But I'm honored to be the first one.
Yeah, you are.
Let's go.
Yes.
You're hearing it first. JPC Frequency.
JPC Frequency, baby.
The new edition.
Yeah, I love it. On the road. We come to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So anyways, Britny.
Yes.
How have you been?
I am doing really well. It was a rough summer. It was a rough summer. I am alive and I'm lucky to be here for sure.
Oh, hell yeah. We're lucky to still have you around. Now, we haven't talked about everything yet. And we wanted to save it, kind of have this as our first discussion. Now, obviously, I knew, hey, some things were going on just because our friend group and, and we're always worried. But I want you to be able to tell your story. And I think that positive message that you put out is exactly what the podcast is about. So much negative bullshit.
Yeah.
You can listen to or watch. And it's I want to put something positive out.
Yeah. So I'm just going to kind of start. The last, I don't know. I mean, I'd say 8 to 10 months, I was kind of spiraling, just in my own world, and I've always drank, too much, way too much, but it just kind of was at this point in my life where I was just really in a dark place and I was just unhappy and I didn't know why. I'm still figuring that out, as each day that goes by, but I was going to go, back home in June. My mom was having brain surgery and I had gone home and it was really scary because she's a kidney transplant patient. So anything that she goes through is always just got to be on high alert because she's just really fragile. And so she was having this surgery. My dad was really worried about it. And we all were, but I flew home. And before I even got on the plane, everything had gone well. I was flying in the day after. So I got pretty lit on the plane and as per usual. And then I landed, my dad picked me up and then we got news that she was being moved into ICU and she wasn't doing good. And so everything just kind of escalated from the first 2 hours that I got home. And so it was just really chaotic and I had to kind of be the mediator for my family, which if I'm the mediator, shit's gone wrong. So it was just really chaotic. And I started even drinking more than usual, at night just to kind of cope. It was a coping mechanism, but things just were really bad. And so I was drinking a lot. My mom wasn't doing good. My family was just, it was just a really bad place. And then I started to, like, every time I ate something, it'd come back up. And I was like, oh, this is normal. I'm just stressed. But it wasn't normal. It wasn't normal. And so I was home a week, and slowly she was finally doing better. And thank God, praise God. And the last day that I was home, they said that they were going to discharge her. So everything worked out, but there was a really scary second there where we thought it wasn't. But she's home now and she's doing great. Praise God.
I'm glad. That's good news.
Yes.
You talked to her recently. Is she doing okay?
Oh yeah, I talk to her every day.
Hey, yeah. Now that experience, you're like, I gotta say, I love you.
I'm like, Mom, stay out of the hospital, damn it. But
well, that's good news.
Yeah, it was great news, and so thought everything was cool. I fly home and drinking on the plane a lot. I ended up getting stuck in Atlanta. It was just landed and barely even remember getting off the plane, which, everybody likes to drink a little bit on the plane. No judgment. Andy picked me up. Don't even really remember him picking me up. And I guess I was like crying that I had this like horrible pain in my stomach, and I don't really remember, but he was just like, go to bed. Probably just drunk, And so I had taken the day off the next day to just kind of hang at the pool, with everybody and just kick it, And so I had woken up planning to go to the pool and, have a couple of vodkas or whatever. And this pain was just like excruciating. And I tried going down there. Like it was horrible. Like I could barely even like walk. And so I came back upstairs, and then I just started vomiting like in just like acid, because I hadn't eaten anything for like, it had almost been a week, because everything I ate, I just threw up. And now at this point, it was just like, I hadn't had any food in my stomach. I couldn't even keep water down. It was just horrible. And so probably like 3 or 4 o'clock, Kevin was like, I'm going to call you an Uber. And so he called me an Uber to take me to the ER. And I didn't even want to go. I'm like, I have the stomach flu, or I'm hungover. Like, I didn't really think
you're trying to like,
explain
it away. This can't be anything, too crazy.
Yeah. And so, it wasn't though. It wasn't. So I got to the ER, and at this point, like I try and remember, and I really I think I was just in so much pain at that point. Like my mind can't remember it. I remember like walking into the ER, and that was it. And they took me back immediately, started giving me like fentanyl, because I was in like so much pain. Andy had come all the way from I think he was working in New Braunfels, and he had come, and I don't remember really anything. But they said I needed to go to the hospital, and whatever was wrong with me, they couldn't like fix there. And so it was probably like 2 a.m, and they took me in an ambulance to Cedar Park Regional. And then I spent 16 days there. And they told me that if I hadn't gotten to the ER when I did, I would have been dead. I had alcohol-induced pancreatitis. So my organs and my body were just shutting down.
Damn. Were there any signs beforehand? Or did it just kind of all hit at once at that point in time?
Dude, it all hit at once. Thinking back, because I think a lot now. I think when I was home, just not being able to keep food down. And then I don't know, I had really, really red skin, almost eczema, which I've never had before. And it was kind of around my nose and just little things, and I was just I don't know what's going on. I'm stressed, which I was. But now looking back, I think it kind of was all just a slow buildup to just my body just being like, Britt, enough is enough.
Man. And then plus everything going on with your mom and
yeah,
that's super stressful. I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
So you spent 16 days?
16 days I was in the hospital. The first few days I was in ICU, and I don't really remember much of that. They had me on morphine, and I think that was like, Andy told me that they told him like, basically the next 24 hours are critical because it's just going to be like what her organs are going to do. They're either going to shut down or they're not.
Damn. So there was a point where he was kind of like, oh man.
Yeah.
Couldn't imagine, you know, my wife's in the hospital. Like,
yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah. And they're just like, we're doing all we can do, but it's really going to be up to her body and her organs if she's going to pull through or not. And then after those 24 hours, you know, they started being able to do what they needed to do and kind of just gave me a bunch of fluids. And yeah, it was just really scary. Like my heart rate was really high. Like all my levels of my organs were just like shutting down. I had like fluid in my lungs, which as a singer, it's not fucking good. But yeah, it's just kind of looking back. I just can't believe that that all happened. Like it doesn't even really seem real, you know.
Yeah.
But I had wanted, which by the way, I am 80 days sober today.
Hold on, that deserves a round of applause. Yes.
Yay.
That's awesome. And I can't imagine it was easy, you know?
No. It wasn't. You know, I look back now and I had wanted to get sober for a while. I had almost did like 2.5 months in 2020. I had decided to do it. I was going to a lot of meetings and stuff like that, but you know, I clearly wasn't ready. And, you know, I was really angry back then when I was. So now it's just kind of, you know, I really have no choice because if I drink again, you know, that could all happen again. I mean, I guess I have a choice, right? Everyone has a choice, but I decided to stay here.
Yes. We need you here. We need more music.
So, but yeah, I'm just grateful to be here. And I think the universe was just like, you know, we let you try on your own and you just, you couldn't do it. So we're going to intervene a little bit and be like, Britt, it's time to get clean and clean up your life.
Hey, I'm glad you have a positive like outlook
on
it. And so, and they say a lot of times when people get really close to death, it's like a whole like life-changing experience. Can you talk a little bit about like that? Like,
yeah, for sure. There's like certain like pieces I remember because a lot of it I don't because I was just so doped up on like pain medicine and stuff. But there were like moments, and my good friend Paige was there, my best friend. She was there a lot. And we had talked about it because there's so many things I don't remember. And so like I'll ask her or I'll ask Andy or, you know, like I saw my doctor and I'll ask him just like what it was like, you know. But she said there were like certain points where like it was super hard for me to breathe, you know, like and I remember like I couldn't even like take deep breaths and my lungs had fluid in them and it was just really scary. But I remember my pastor from my church came and oh my God, I was just in so much pain and I was miserable. And they had like stuck this like, hope this isn't TMI, but they stuck this like tube like up my nose, down my throat, in my stomach, to basically like pump all this like poison out of me. And it was horrible. And they left it there for days because I just had so much like toxin and poison build up. But I was miserable. Damn. I know, it was bad.
That sounds horrible.
It was. But that's honestly, that like saved my life because I think once they started like getting that out of me, I was like able to have a conversation. I was able to breathe better. I was more coherent. I mean, it was horrible. But my pastor came and I remember like he was praying with me and I looked at him and I was like, am I going to die? Like there were moments where I really was like, okay, this is it. Like, you know, I did this to myself, you know, it was all my doing and, you know, the alcohol and I'm here because of the choices I've made. Nobody else's, but mine. But he looked at me and he said, no, you have a voice, you have a gift, and God has a plan for you. And I instantly felt like this peace come over me, and I knew he was right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then a few days later, I was discharged. So, which was the best feeling in the world.
I was about to say, like, what was the first thing you did when you got home?
I cried.
Tears of joy?
Yeah, they wheeled me out in a wheelchair, and I got in the car, and I just started weeping. I mean, I hadn't been outside in like almost 2.5 weeks. I didn't think I was ever going to leave. And it was just, I can't even explain it, and just coming, because I had been home in Cleveland for a little over a week. And then I wasn't even home 12 hours. And then I ended up in the ICU. So I had not been home in over it was almost like a month.
Damn.
So it was just a long time, like leaving to go to Cleveland. I was not thinking like, oh man, I'm going to have like this crazy traumatic time in Cleveland. I'm going to get home and then spend 12 hours here and then end up almost dying in the hospital for 2.5 weeks. Like, it was not what I was thinking.
Yeah, because it came out of nowhere. Cause
it did.
So I didn't know any of this. I only knew they were like, hey, Britney's in the hospital. And I was like, what? Mm-hmm. Didn't know any to the extent of what it was. But yeah, man, that is crazy.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be there like a day, maybe the night. But yeah. And then not only was I that sick, but then, you're also kind of going through like that detox, right? Like not only was I in like all this pain from pancreatitis, but then I'm like not drinking when I'm used to like drinking every single day. So it was just a lot.
So the drinking part, that was like literally every day, or?
Yeah, I drank wine. Wine was kind of my go-to. And so I would drink wine every night. Now I never drink when I sing. I never drank when I sang.
Like for shows and
stuff? For
stuff?
shows, yeah. And I would like, if I had a big show, like I had my show at Lambert's back in June, and I didn't drink like the whole week before. So when it came to music, I was very strict with myself and really set boundaries with my drinking, which before the pandemic, not saying like because of the pandemic I drank more, but I was definitely more active in the scene, and I was playing more and doing more, drinking less. But yeah, it definitely consumed my life for sure.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was struggling, I would say a little bit with drinking, at least like where you would drink, instead of drinking to have fun and just be social, it was like, I want to escape my problems, or, I want to escape reality for a second.
Because that's what it does, man.
Honestly.
And it's fun, I'm like, hey, I don't want to deal with this shit, so I'm just going to drink. I'm going to forget about it. I'm going to numb myself. But then the next day when I wake up, it's going to still fucking be there, and then I'm going to feel like shit.
Oh, yeah. I hate waking up and like, what did I do last night?
Oh, my God.
You got to piece your night together through other people.
Oh, my God. Yes. Or I'll send a text like, hey, I had so much fun last night. Think I drank a little too much. Ha ha. Good times. I mean, I probably sent that text like every other day.
Yeah. Like, hey, I wasn't too much last night, right?
Right. I was cool. Right. Shit. Let me check my text real quick. Let me check my photos. What did I do?
Yeah, it's like that sometimes, and that's a scary fucking feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what did I do last night?
Yeah, it is.
Was I an asshole? I probably was. Usually.
Yeah. Yeah. Did I make a bad decision?
Oh yeah.
How many did I make? Are people mad at me?
How much money did I spend?
Yeah.
Like, what was my bar tab?
Fuck. I spent that much.
Yeah, like I wanted to go out with $40, and I spent $120. Like.
Or where did I leave my debit card?
Oh, I hate that feeling.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell you how many times I had to go get a new debit card because I lost it.
Yeah, that's terrible. Losing like your wallet or some shit, yeah.
Or my whole purse. I've done that.
So see, you're not missing out on much.
Yeah, it's been a journey for sure. Feeling my feelings, which I have a lot of feelings. But now now I got to feel them. I can't, I got to face them. which is hard because you got to feel all of them like all the time. And it's been interesting, like getting to know myself, because I started drinking when I was like 15. So, ever since then, anytime something hard happens or comes up, like I gotta, I would drink. But now I'm like, well, I can't. So I guess I gotta figure out how to deal with this shit.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable. But you grow when you're uncomfortable. If you're comfortable all the time, how do you grow? Someone said this to me the other day. They were like, if you are the most successful person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And I realized that a lot of my time leading up to this, I was in the wrong room. I was in the wrong place, And so it's been a journey. It's been really eye-opening. I've just been getting a lot more clarity in things and finding new opportunities and new people to meet and new ways to express myself and filling up parts of me that I used to fill with alcohol. And I'll tell you what, I have a lot more time on my hands.
Oh, yeah.
I have a lot more time on my hands.
I could imagine.
Mm-hmm. And besides feeling feelings and kind of learning who I am again, I'd say, a part of this journey too has been realizing, like, I had a lot of people in my life who I really thought were my friends, and turns out they really weren't. And it's interesting, getting clarity on who is toxic and who is not, and who really is your friend. And it's kind of been like a grieving process in a sense, like going through that. And, people you really love, you just gotta, let go of, or put some distance between, or, set these boundaries up. Or maybe they just really have, no place in your life and they don't serve you. And so it's been really difficult, kind of facing that. But again, it's, you got to be selfish sometimes and do what's best for you.
Yeah. Take care of yourself,
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So other than, the facing your problems and all that kind of head on, how do you feel physically? Like, I see you're in the gym again.
Yes, I started boxing.
Hey.
I know. That was, they said I when I first got out of the hospital, I couldn't even really walk. So, I was like, there's no way I'm going to go, like, kick some woman's ass or go box. But it's been good to run again. I did the boxing. I feel great. I feel really great.
Now, coming out of the hospital and everything, how did that affect your music?
It affected it a lot, I would say. It always seems to happen like this, but I had played a really big show at Lambert's in the beginning of June, and that was my first full band show as Britny Lobas in over 2 years because of the pandemic and just Corbella, my other band, or my previous band, ending. So I was kind of riding this high, and the show was amazing, and then everything just happened, and everything was put on hold at this point. I had to cancel shows. I had to cancel everything, obviously. But getting out, it was still, I was still really weak. I'm still recovering now. They said it'll take a long time. But I had gotten a mix back for this song that I had wrote, like kind of in the midst of all of this 10 months ago. And that song's called Hollow. And I'll tell you a little backstory on that, if that's okay.
Of course.
I had went on a writing retreat with my co-writer and bandmate Garrett Brown, and we get this cabin out in like Spice Branch, Texas, or Spicewood or something Spice, and there's like no service. It's in the middle of nowhere, and we go out there for days and just write, and it's amazing, and we have a really great time. But this time specifically, I didn't want to go. because I was in a really dark place. I was in a really bad headspace and just in my life. And I didn't want to go and write about it. I just wanted to forget about it and drink. And so I didn't want to go, but I couldn't cancel. So I went and Andy was dropping me off, and we had prayed about, the retreat. And basically he, praying, he just said, God's going to speak through you what he wants to say. And I was just like, okay, God, whatever. And rolled my eyes, and we wrote quite a few songs, but one that really stuck out to me and really spoke to me was Hollow. And basically the song was about being trapped in my addiction. And, you always kind of write a song so other people can relate to it. So, when you hear the song, it can be anything, you can be trapped in anything. But it's all about filling up like the hollow part of you, because that's what I was trying to do the whole time, kind of looking back and going through in my head, like why I drank so much and why I did the things that I did was I was always trying to fill this emptiness, this void, and so that's what the song is about. I had no intention of releasing it sober. No intention at all. But I got out of the hospital and I got the mix back and I was listening to it, and then it hit me, because I don't even think I fully, like, I kind of subconsciously was writing this, right? Like I didn't really think that's what it was about. But then I was listening back to it and I was like, holy shit, this song is almost like was like a premonition of what was going to happen. Like it was like a story of like being empty and being trapped. And then I need to fill up the hollow side. And then I'm like in the bar, and when drink on the house leads to two in my room, loneliness lies beside me at night, tangled in blankets and bottles of wine. And I was kind of like painting this picture and then telling myself like, you're going to fill up this hollow part of you. Like you got to, because your life depends on it. And so I got the mix back, and it was just really powerful to me that I wrote this song in the midst of this horribly dark place, was in the hospital. It almost took my life. By the grace of God, I conquered it. I survived it. And now here I am with this piece of me and this song that I didn't finish on the writing retreat. I started it.
I was going to ask that. Okay.
Yeah,
so
I did not finish it there.
that is
In
badass.
fact, we had tabled it. We had tabled it for a minute and worked on other things for months, and then finished it. Actually, I finished it here. I wrote the chorus in like, I don't know, 10 minutes.
That's badass. So you started it before you went to the hospital. You said about 10 months ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what did you have? Maybe like
we had 2 verses, and then we had a chorus idea, but I was just like, this is not catchy. It's just not catchy enough. And so I wrote another one.
That's awesome. And you finish it here in where we are now?
Where we are now, yeah.
Which is an awesome studio, by the way.
Thank you.
Great vibes.
Thank you. Yeah, I love being in here. And I've noticed too, especially since I got out of the hospital, like I'm in here like every day for hours. And I'll just lose track of time. And before I was in here, but just not as much.
More focused now, like.
Yeah. It's like all I want to do, just kind of pouring everything I have into it. But yeah, the song is going to come out September 30th. And the really full circle thing I feel like is I have a friend, Andrea McGee, who she's from Belfast, Ireland. She's an incredible singer-songwriter doing really big things. She is releasing an album the same day. And I really initially wanted to put like a show around the release because it means so much to me. But, I didn't have the time, like, because it was such short notice. And a lot of my contacts at venues kind of have just gone, through COVID. But anyways, I had gone to see her play at a house party 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And, old me, if I was drinking, I would have never gone. And I can't tell you why. I wouldn't have gone. And I did. I went and saw her, and she was great. And she saw that I posted I was releasing my single Hollow, and she is playing a huge show at the 04 Center, which is an old church that they transformed into this event center. And she asked me to premiere the song and open up the night for her. All because I went to see her. And yeah, it just kind of gives me chills because the whole thing, like I grew up singing in church. That's the first place I ever sang. And, you know, I left the church when I was 15. I started drinking when I was 15. And it's just kind of like coming full circle. Like I wrote this song and now like for the first time in my sobriety in this new life, I'm going to, you know, premiere it and sing it at this beautiful church in South Austin in front of hundreds of people. And then I get to tell them my story.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So everybody check that out.
Yes. September 30th, the 04 Center. It's going to be Andrea McGee, her boyfriend, Dave Scher, who is phenomenal. He's releasing an album as well. And then I'll be opening the night with my bandmate and co-writer of the song, Garrett J. Brown.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It'll be on all streaming platforms. And then we'll have the show and then going to be releasing more music and a music video and playing shows and hopefully hitting the road and doing some like weekend runs with the band and, you know, just kind of getting just back out there. Just hitting it hard. Now that I finally have worked up the lineup, I think it's going to be really important to just keep hitting different cities and, you know, spread the music, spread the show. And, yeah, I love playing live shows. It's definitely my favorite, being on stage. I love being in the studio. I love writing 110%, but being on stage in front of people it's where I get high. I love it.
That's like your favorite part of the the journey.
Yes, 100%.
I like that. And I haven't got to see you yet. I know my wife went.
Yes.
And she was like blown away. She came home. She was like, dude.
Aww.
Yeah, it was.
I was so happy she came. I was so happy. And that was a really special show because it was the first one with the current lineup. So we were all really pumped.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah. Well, Britny, first of all, thank you again.
Of course.
The whole vibe in here was awesome.
Thank you.
And thank you for telling your story. I feel like that was inspirational. People need to hear that. A lot of people, including myself, I've struggled with drinking and just, it's good to see that somebody made it out on the other side and you're thriving. You look great.
Thank you.
And everybody's excited for your new music. So September 30th, everybody check it out. Come see her live. And yeah, thanks for watching the JPC Frequency Podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Peace.